Good morning, I'm Paolo del Rosario. Welcome to Weather HQ here on BNC, the Billionaire News Channel. Today's headlines. Hurricane Milton dumps heavy rains in western Cuba and maintains its strength while moving towards Florida. The latest in our global weather. The agriculture sector is among the most vulnerable to climate change, and farmers face increasing challenges to sustain their livelihoods. Later on in the show, I'll speak with the Federation of Free Farmers about how they're coping with this global concern. And today is World Mental Health Day. We'll give you tips on how to help raise awareness on mental health issues. Let's take a look at the latest weather here in the Philippines. According to Pag-asa, the northeasterly surface wind flow or weak amihan is still affecting extreme northern Luzon. Now, this system is caused by the high pressure area from mainland Asia and brings cooler temperatures, light rains, and moderate winds, particularly in areas like Batanes and the Babuyan Islands. Now, in Metro Manila, on the other hand, and the rest of the country, partly cloudy to cloudy skies are expected, but be prepared for isolated rain showers or localized thunderstorms as well. Now, as for our sea conditions, there is no gale warning in effect, allowing seafarers to venture out safely. However, please remain vigilant and take precautionary measures as weather conditions could change unexpectedly. Now, stay safe and enjoy your time on the water. Let's take a look at the weather conditions in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, starting off with Luzon. Now, the northern part of the region, particularly in Tuguegarao, can expect cloudy skies with light rains over here, while the remaining parts of the region will experience generally fair weather conditions. Now, this means the sun will show up, but do expect rain showers sometime during the day. Now, that's particularly true in Lawag, Baguio, Olongapo, and even here in Metro Manila. And of course, Legazpi as well is included in that. There's a 60 to 90% chance of rain today. Now, residents are advised to be prepared for sudden rain showers, especially in the afternoon. Now, down over here in Puerto Princesa, you can expect warm weather all throughout the day, and there is a low chance of rain here in Puerto Princesa. Temperatures, though, may reach up to 32 degrees Celsius, which is quite high when you consider the entire region in Luzon. Now, let us now go on to the Visayas, particularly Bacolod, Iloilo, Metro Cebu, and Tacloban, where generally fair weather conditions are also expected with a low chance of rain and temperatures that may reach up to 33 degrees Celsius. Now, expect hot weather, so stay hydrated and wear that sunscreen. As you can see here, 33 degrees in Bacolod and 33 degrees here in Metro Cebu. The highs expected around the region, while Tacloban and Iloilo, just a degree cooler than that. Moving on to Mindanao, you can expect the same weather conditions as well in Metro Davao, Cagayan de Oro, and Zamboanga. Temperatures are a bit on the higher side, so again, we have to reiterate, stay cool and stay hydrated. Now, consider doing outdoor activities in the early morning or later in the evening when it's a bit cooler and safer. Refreshing drinks on hand could also help to make sure that you enjoy your day without overheating. That's right, hindi lang kotse po ang nag-overheat, kayo rin. As we take a look at this, Metro Davao 33 degrees and Zamboanga over at 33 degrees as well. So a bit hot over in Mindanao. Again, not yet Friday, but we're almost there. So stay with us, guys. We're all excited for the weekend ahead. Let's take a look at the 3-day weather forecast. Let's go to Baguio. Here's the 3-day weather forecast here. Now is the best time to visit the summer capital of the Philippines. For the next 3 days, you can expect generally fair weather conditions with a very cool temperature of 17 degrees as the low. Perfect time to explore the parks, visit the local markets, or enjoy some of those fresh strawberries. Ube also would work out, as of course, when you're here in Baguio, you cannot stop eating them. All right, so let's go on to Tacloban. And of course, when we go to Tacloban, maupay nga aga as we expect generally fair weather conditions this weekend. Now, for those who have not yet visited Tacloban, the good weather can be a great opportunity to explore. Now, you might enjoy the San Juanico Bridge, relaxing at the beach, or maybe exploring the local markets. Also, a nice time to try some of the local delicacies and take a leisurely walk along the waterfront. Here's the weather for all of that here today. Actually, the next 3 days rather. So Friday, Saturday to Sunday, good weather conditions to go visit Tacloban, 30 degrees Celsius being the high on all of those 3 days. Moving on down south, Good weather conditions also expected in Cagayan de Oro this weekend. Now, enjoy the whitewater rafting, exploring the gardens of Malasag, or taking a walk along the riverfront as well. If you're in the mood for something a bit more relaxed, local cafes are always a great option. Markets as well. You can also spend the day just being with your friends or loved ones. But bring your umbrellas and fans because it will get a bit hot. Take a look at this. Saturday and Sunday, 33 degrees Celsius the high over in Cagayan de Oro. Again, hot day, but a good day. Just make sure you stay safe while you enjoy all of that. Now, up next, we'll listen to the Federation of Free Farmers on their concerns and vision for the agricultural sector amidst the threats of climate change. You're still watching Weather HQ. Keep it here. Hello, you're still watching Weather HQ. I'm Paolo del Rosario. The agriculture sector is highly vulnerable to climate change, facing threats from unpredictable weather and resource scarcity. Now, to discuss its impact on the local industry, we're joined by the National Manager of the Federation of Free Farmers, Raul Montemayor, via Zoom. Magandang umaga po. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yes, good morning, Paolo, and good morning also to all your listeners.
So Raul, unang-una, for those not familiar with the Federation of Free Farmers, could you tell us a bit more about yung organization po ninyo? Ano po ang role ninyo in making sure that the farmers are well represented and the farmers are taken care of?
Yes, actually the Federation's number one role is advocacy for farmers' interests. No? It's one of the oldest farmer organizations in the country, established in 1953, and it is also one of the largest now. Aside from advocacy, we also have a cooperative arm that provides economic services to our members. And of course, climate change is one factor that affects a lot of our members. So we try to deal with that in advocating for support programs for government, providing training and advice to our members, and then also helping them on the economic side, the marketing, procurement of inputs through our cooperatives.
So Raul, you mentioned climate change, of course, as one of the reasons why we have you on. For those wondering, when you take a look at yung impact ng climate change sa mga farmers on a very real level po, what impact or what particular impact does it have to the day-to-day life of our farmers with the climate change changing the weather patterns that we're experiencing here in the Philippines?
Oh, yes, it's a very big challenge, and there's very little that the farmers can actually do. It's the forces of nature that are affecting his crop and his livelihood. No? There are some things that can be done. One is to adjust the timing of your planting and harvesting, because in the first half of the year, it's the dry season, and there are less typhoons during that period. But to enable farmers to plant more during the dry season, you need water. Yun naman ang kulang, yung irrigation natin. And then on the second half of the year, that's the wet season. So there is a lot of rain. And many farmers use that to start planting their crops. No? Unfortunately, the second half is also the period where we experience a lot of typhoons. No? And climate change is making this transitions from dry conditions to wet conditions more extreme. No? That's an additional challenge to the farmers.
Sir, could you give us an example of just how important resource management actually is? Kanina pinag-usapan namin yung resource scarcity, but then resource management through all these times through climate change as well as the necessary government support, just how big is that in reducing yung vulnerability ng agriculture sector natin?
Oh, well, again, if it's forces of nature, no calamities, there is very little you can do. No, I talked about shifting your planting calendar. That's one way, but not a sufficient way. That other one is to change your crop, no? or move on to either crops or areas which are less vulnerable to either floods or drought. No? And again, that's a very big challenge. How can you move people from their existing farms or crops to other options? No? In most cases, the farmers just have to grin and bear it. No? And when the typhoon strikes them and they incur damage, that is where government assistance probably is most needed to allow them to recover from that calamity.
Sir, is there any role that the national government can play? You mentioned on helping them recover, but then in terms of actually helping them throughout this climate change period that we're having right now, we're seeing increase in number of typhoons, prolonged periods of dry seasons. Can we expect more from the national government with regards to addressing yung mga issues na to?
Yeah, well, during the time of El Nino, when we had very little rain, the option was to build water impounding systems so that during the rainy season, we can gather all of the available rainwater and then use them during the drought period. No? Again, that needs a lot of investment and preparation. You cannot do that when it's already El Nino time, no? Or El Nino time. La Nino. Now, when it comes to La Nina, where we have too much rain, I suppose one intervention is the flood system. No? Kasi nangyayari when we have a lot of rain, even here in Manila, the rain doesn't go out there. Wala lalabasan, no? And when you submerge crops over several days, no, they will rot away. They will not survive the flooding. No? So that's where government can come in. Otherwise, how will you stop the wind? How will you stop the torrential rain? Parang mahirap.
Opo. That's true. We have no control over the weather. But you were talking about, of course, the efforts that could be done, adjustments being done by the farmers. What would you say is yung vision nyo po for agriculture here in the Philippines, especially throughout all the challenges being posed by climate change?
Can you repeat that? It's a little bit choppy.
Yes, sir. Ano po yung vision nyo for the future of agriculture in the Philippines, especially since we're going through a lot of climate change adverse effects?
Yeah, well, for now, it's very little adjustment, no? Because although we see what is happening with climate change, for ordinary farmers, there is very little option on what else to do, no? Or how to adjust. No? They are stuck, for example, in palay production. It's vulnerable to either drought or typhoons. No? But if you tell them, then plant another crop or go to another area, those options are not practical options for ordinary farmers. No? They cannot easily do that, unlike maybe a business that can easily change course. No? So what will be the vision? Sa ngayon, needs a long-term planning, I think. Some activity that's being done in terms of reconfiguring your farm areas so that they are less vulnerable to flooding or other climatic disturbances. No? And then I think, again, very important, if we cannot stop it, then we help the farmers cope with it through crop insurance, through relief activities, provision of input so that they can plant again.
Sir Raul, maraming salamat. Thank you very much for your time and insights. We really appreciate you being here and hopefully we can have you again soon.
Salamat din. Thank you.
That's Raul Montemayor, the National Manager of the Federation of Free Farmers. When we return, global weather is up next. Keep it here on Billionaire News Channel. Welcome back. This is Weather HQ. Let's take a look at the global weather. Hurricane Milton has maintained its strength and is now heading to Florida. In Matlacha, strong winds and heavy gusts lashed the coast, scattering debris across roadways and bending palm trees. Dock fishing boats swayed in the rough waters while empty streets reflected the urgency of evacuation orders. A sign on the roadside warned of mandatory evacuations. As Hurricane Milton approaches Florida, it also dumped heavy rains in western Cuba on Wednesday, leaving flooded streets and homes. Multiple tornadoes have been confirmed in southern Florida, including Lewiston, Miami, Tampa Bay, and Fort Myers. The National Hurricane Center says the hurricane is currently located 241 kilometers southwest of Tampa with maximum sustained winds of up to 209 kilometers per hour. It continues to move northeast with a speed of 25 kilometers per hour, as you can see over here, while wind speeds may drop further before landfall. Milton is expected to maintain hurricane strength as it crosses the Florida peninsula, posing storm surge dangers on the state's Atlantic coast as well. Now, the size of the storm is growing as it approaches the landmass, endangering more coastal areas still recovering from the destruction caused by Hurricane Helene. Residents in Florida, particularly in coastal areas, please stay informed and secure your homes and have an emergency plan ready in case conditions worsen. The now downgraded Hurricane Kurt has poured 90 millimeters of rain in a day. According to Metro France, this amount is typically good as a month's amount of rainfall. At a press briefing, the Minister for Ecological Transition and Energy, Agnès Pannier-Runacher, says the French government is mobilizing all state services to reduce the risks associated with this weather disturbance. She advises French people to exercise caution as 29 departments are placed on orange alert and 1 department on red alert. Now, the remnants of Hurricane Kurt will continue to affect parts of France, bringing the heavy rains and strong winds to some regions. As we can see here, the coastal areas, especially in the west, might experience rough seas and flooding. As you can see here, the path of Cyclone Kurt. If you're in France, make sure to check the local news sources for the latest updates and stay safe. As you can see here, the clouds that you're seeing over there, by the way, were actually parts of the storm that have started to dissipate. So that is the weather conditions you can expect here, and you can see how much is affecting the majority of France and even blowing into a bit of Germany as well. Now let's go and talk about mental health, because today is World Mental Health Day. It is a great opportunity to raise awareness on mental health issues around the world and to mobilize support from various sectors. There are many ways to observe this day, such as educating yourself by watching documentaries and sharing what you learn with friends and family. Consider reaching out to those who might need support. Join local events or community activities and use your voice on social media to promote mental health awareness. And even though you may be swamped with work deadlines, meetings, today's weather is perfect for some time outdoors. So why not go outside, have a walk, have a picnic, or just relax in a park. Maybe with a loved one, maybe with some friends, maybe by yourself. That's all okay. Even simply sitting outside with a good book or listening to music can be a wonderful way to unwind and refresh your mind. Keep your mind safe, and we'll be with you again tomorrow, because that's Weather HQ for today. Join us again, whatever the weather, here on BNC, the Billionaire News Channel. I'm Paolo del Rosario. Have a good morning.